getting smoked. This is their attempt at making an attack, but since it's all clear down here, it's really really easy to avoid that. That charger dies right away, and that jockey is going to do almost no damage. He just gets cleared. And as you can see, we're not completely swarmed by Horde because we did a good job of clearing it. And then we get to run forward and capitalize on that downtime. So this is No Mercy 4, I think. And this opening always is pretty swarmed with Horde. But if you're kind of quick with the draw and can get a few shots off, you'll see here we ended up clearing this pretty well. Closing the door there. And now they do pull a pretty good attack here, but you see that the damage isn't nearly as bad as it could be simply because there's not as much Horde on the map. Literally, we're not being hit by Horde at all, so that's a pretty good clearing there as well. And then I go ahead and push up because they are all down. Just running forward, shooting as I run, reloading with that shotgun so I don't run out of ammo. I must have missed that guy. And see, clearing all this Horde up front gives me an opportunity to just run up and basically, crown the switch without being troubled by any of that Horde. So it's a good idea to clear if you can. And here, this is the opening to Dark Carnival 4, I think, as well. And this part always has a really long run with lots of sporadic Horde, and this is just a good example of running and shooting Horde. The Scar is a great weapon for Horde clearing, specifically because it's got 60 shots, 60 bullets, and it's so accurate. You can clear an entire mob of Horde without even having to reload. And just running through that Horde, just taking headshots at it really makes it a lot easier. So up next is what I like to call using what you have. And this is essentially about items. A lot of people don't know how to use their items properly. And a lot of people don't know how to and when to use your items. For example, the name of the game is speed, right? So that means everybody needs to be running quickly. That means everybody has to be green and being able to move fast. So that means healing basically as much as you can. But remember that health kits also revive you from being black and white, and they basically put you, they kind of start you all over again. So you don't want to heal. You don't want to heal if you're about half health with a kit. If you can use pills, so shoot pills, shoot shots before you use your med kits, because your med kits they kind of reset your entire damage, if you will. Like you can't go black and white and then heal up with pills because you'll still die. But a med kit will kind of start that over again. Also, what's important is to pass your pills. As a beginner, a lot of people get kind of, they kind of start hoarding their items. They don't want to share with your teammates, but trust me, if you have 3 guys running on green health and you have 1 guy running on red health and nobody wants to give them the pills because, oh, I found them, they're mine, you're going to go down, that person's going to go down, and you're going to leave them and you're going to run to the safe room and you're going to have less points and you're going to lose. Just share the stuff, pass pills, don't hoard inventory. You have to use what you have. There's a reason why you pick it up. Sometimes I'll pick up pipes and I'll just chuck it right there if it'll save me time to run through a whole room with Horde without having to clear. The name of the game is speed. Think speed. What's the fastest way I can get here? And if that means healing up, sharing your pills, do it. So the next big thing is you have to call when you are piping, biling, or throwing a molly. Just say piping. I'm gonna toss fire, or get ready to run. I'm gonna throw a bile bomb. So that kind of stuff, don't hold on to, I see people dying with 2 sets of pills, in the group, and like a pipe and mollies, and you just could have prevented so much damage by using those items. They're basically, they're essentially like free ammunition. You need to use them when you have a chance. The only time you should be saving a molly is if you know that there is a tank coming up or there's a witch coming up. That's when you hold on to them. Otherwise, what I like to do a lot of times is just, if I'm standing and I'm surrounded by Horde, I just look down and chuck a molly right at my feet, and everybody just runs through it, and that's it. You don't have to worry about clearing, you don't have to worry about mailing, it's done. So just remember to use your items, use them intelligently, make sure they serve a purpose, but don't hold on to them all day long. You throw pipes, throw everything you can, just to speed up the game. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I see somebody surrounded by Horde or during an event, and they grab the pipe bomb that they have, and they aim up and they just chuck it over the horizon, and the Horde takes off after it, but it never hits the ground because it explodes in the air because you threw it so far away, and it kills 0 Horde, and all that Horde just rushes right back on the team. If you're piping, quick glance up, see where the horde is, and chuck it right in the middle of where that horde is standing. If that means you look down at your feet and you chuck a pipe and it bounces off your feet and it lands 2 feet from you, if that's going to kill all that horde, do it. Please don't throw pipe bombs a mile away. Please don't throw them where the horde has to run more than 2-3 steps to get there. You need to chuck a pipe bomb as close to yourself as possible without damaging yourself, and as effectively as you can to get as much horde cleared off as you can. Useless pipe bombs are like the saddest thing in the world to see. So make sure you use all that stuff intelligently, like I said. Right, so let's talk about tanks and witches and how we can deal with them. So if the survivors are speeding through a level, and if you imagine that level as like a road, so a tank is like a huge stop sign. It's a chance for the infected to completely halt the progress of the survivors and buy themselves a lot of time to essentially just kill the survivors with countless attacks or just one big attack where they can wipe everybody. So what can a beginner do in a tank fight? So the first thing you should do is save a Molotov if you have one. This is crucial because Molotov essentially puts the pressure on the tank, whereas a good tank will put the pressure on the survivors by throwing rocks or just going in and going back out, you know, getting a few swings in and running back out. A Molotov puts the pressure on the tank because the tank now has to run in and deal damage. Otherwise, he just burns up. So if you can put down fire, burn the tank, and light him up and just start firing at him. All firepower must be on the tank at all times. If somebody's pounced or jockeyed and they're in your line of sight and you could shoot the jockey or the smoker or whatever, do it. But otherwise, you need to be shooting the tank 100% of the time. I've seen too many players running around trying to dodge the tank when they should just be shooting it. And the more you shoot the tank, the quicker it'll go down and the less damage it'll do to you, and the faster you'll be able to proceed in the level and keep that momentum going that you have. So how do you fight a tank? The first rule is you need to find a space where you can avoid being attacked from multiple directions. You need to put yourself either in a corner or in a space where you can block the spawns, have good visual contact with the tank, and avoid being ambushed by the special infected. For example, you need if you get boomed, you can pretty much consider the fight a loss, because if you get boomed and a tank runs in with 2 other special infected as backup, it's almost guaranteed somebody's going to get downed, and then it's just a nightmare. So avoid getting boomed. You have to be blocking spawns. You have to peek into closets where a boom can spawn into, that kind of stuff. Spread out so you don't all get hit with one swing. I've seen this happen too many times where somebody stands in a stairwell, 3 or 4 people waiting with melee weapons for the tank to rush in. The tank rushes in, swipes, and 3 of them are being hit. And then they get up and he swipes again, and all 3 get hit again. And that's just, that's ridiculous. You need to be spread out. Formation is crucial. You need to be in the proper formation. And so is dealing massive damage quickly. That's what you have to think about. Just deal as much damage as you can quickly. Move around the tank. Stay out of his range. So always face him, but run backwards and just be shooting at the tank at all times. If you see somebody is being chased down by the tank, run behind him, get a melee weapon out, and start swinging at his back. And just do as much damage as you possibly can. If you're not the target of the tank, you need to be doing all damage to the tank. So witches are a little bit more interesting. They're more of a speed bump that can turn really, really badly depending on how fast you hit it. So especially because a lot of special infected will set up on a witch. What I mean by that is they will have a smoker nearby and a boomer and a hunter, and as you try to go in to try to shoot that witch, they'll pull you into her, or they'll scratch a witch as you're trying to aggro her so that she stands up and starts chasing you, or they'll just boom you as you're running up and set off a witch with a boom. So the trick is to avoid any sort of setups. So if crowning is a little bit advanced, that's when you shoot the witch with one shot out of a shotgun and you kill her with one hit. That's a little bit advanced. We'll cover that later. But what I like you to start thinking about is having Molotovs and lighting the witch and shooting her as she runs at you. This is a really, really effective technique because she takes really, really quick DPS from the fire, and you can shoot her in the head as she's running at you and just set up a firing squad and just shoot her down. If you don't have a Molotov, you can set the witch off just by being far away and shooting at her, what I like to do as well is if someone's low health, just run up and aggro her. Just flat out aggro her. Don't let the special infected get away with it. Just run out and take a swing at her with an axe, and then everybody else burn her down real quick and get you back up. So running and gunning is a really good strat too. That's when if you accidentally shoot a witch, the person who aggroes her turns around and just starts bolting the other way. You just run away from towards the beginning of the level, and your teammates should turn all firepower towards the witch and burn her down as she's chasing you. So it's kind of like a kite that way. So that's another technique. So you should also note that a witch can actually aggro and down 2 players in one life. One who is the first person to shoot her, and the other one is the person who sets her on fire. So if you imagine somebody throws a molly and misses the witch, and another person shoots that witch and she runs through the fire, she will actually run to the person who shot her, down him, then run to the guy who lit her, and down him as well. So that kind of stuff you should be worried about, and try to avoid that. So you've been watching me fight tanks for a while now, and let's talk about some of this footage that I want to show you here. So here's a really good setup that we like to do in No Mercy. If you trigger a tank in this location, in the sewers, is you can actually push up to this location here. Once you trigger the tank, you just close the door, and there's a really nice tunnel here. And these are the kind of spots that you want to look for. These kind of not necessarily dead-end spots, but they're really hard for infected to spawn in because you can block all the spawns down here, and you're almost creating a bottleneck for the infected to come at you from. So you really start to control the engagement. As you can see here, we lit the fire to kind of buy ourselves some more time. We have teammates looking behind to make sure that we pick any boomers that want to drop down on us. And then so now you see the infected they're just trying to go one at a time to see if they can distract us or pull somebody towards the tank. We even have fire ammo now, so it's even better. But these are this is the formation you want to have, where you have somebody watching the tank, ready to call. See, this jockey tries to go in, the tank goes in with him, which is actually a good play by the tank. And but we managed to kill all the infected, and now it's just a shooting gallery for the tank. He misses, he doesn't go after the slow person. He decides to rush it on us, and we just put all firepower. As you can see, everybody's shooting the tank, and he goes down in a matter of seconds. It's he has one person down here. I take a shot to escape him here. There we go, and it was pretty close, but it's just too much firepower, and we overpower him here. But this is exactly how you want to do it. You want to kind of back up into a corner or back up into an area where you take away a lot of the spawns, and so you're only dealing with the tank, which by himself is kind of scary, but it's very definitely manageable. And this is No Mercy 5, the finale, and this is just I'm going to show you an example of how to just kind of put some pressure on the tank. I think we already were winning this game, so I wasn't really worried about formation. It was just more about kind of having fun. And but it's a good video to show, just to give you an idea of what to do if a tank is chasing you. So this kind of just playing around and jumping off of geometry is really nice because it confuses the tank. And this is exactly kind of the run and gun play that you want to do. Is that I know this tank is chasing me, so I'm not going to turn around. I'm just going to jump right off, and all my teammates are there, and they're putting fire on it, and this tank is pretty much gone. So it's a real kind of simple kiting technique that's very useful to do. You always have to keep moving. Here, you're going to see us accidentally set off the witch, and then you see the teammates instantly turn fire. You can hear her aggro right there. And see how she just completely starts running, and she just takes off after the survivors, but everybody concentrates on her, and we burn her down pretty quickly. And that's exactly how you want to handle a situation like that, where you accidentally set off a witch. In this next example, you'll see a run and gun scenario where again I accidentally light the witch, and I run back, and everybody goes full firing squad on the witch and down her really quickly. It's super important to be able to react quickly with witches, and you get a pretty loud alarm when you set one off. So it's always a good idea to just make sure your whole team is concentrating all their firepower on the witch. Let's discuss dealing with incaps. And what I mean by that is incapacitated players. So when you get downed, when you're lying there and you're bleeding out, that's kind of like exactly what the special infected want to do to you, and you need to avoid that at all costs. But if you can't, you need to know how you can recover from those. Recovery is a huge part of playing the survivors very well. It's a huge part of maintaining your momentum because you want to keep going, and you want to keep going with speed. So The idea is to shove or melee the infected if you're close, and to shoot them if you're far. If you can't get to them in time, you should be shooting as you're running, and if you still haven't shot them off as you're running up to them, you melee them off. What I find that happens a lot of the time is with new players is they'll stand next to the guy who's being pounced, and they'll shoot, they'll run out of ammo, they'll start reloading, and they'll just continue shooting.